How accidental discovery saved millions during the World War. A 20-year-long journey to develop the world's first antibiotic penicillin. In Drive, Alexander Fleming returned from a holiday and found a fungus growing on a petri dish having Staphylococcus bacteria. He soon identified that the fungus producing self-defense chemical that is killing bacteria. He named the substance penicillin. Fleming published his findings and presented his discovery to the Medical Research Club. But his peers showed very less interest in his work also. He has not enough money for the mass production of the penicillin. With the help of several chemists, all leading experts in their fields, he tried to purify penicillin from the mold. None were successful. Penicillin was labeled a laboratory curiosity and Fleming gave up attempts to purify it. Nearly 10 years later in 1937, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain uncovered Fleming's research. After 3 years of efforts and trials, they developed a successful but inefficient process that produced pure penicillin. The team finally had enough penicillin to start animal trials. Penicillin Project Oxford Laboratory had become a penicillin factory. 6 women, known as the Penicillin Girls, to farm a few precious milligrams of penicillin from fungus broth every week. Drive, Ethel Flourier, a supervisor of the clinical trials team, even tried unpleasant measures to bolster the penicillin supplies, as around 80% of a dose of penicillin is excreted from our bodies, in our urine, and can be extracted and recycled. Patients' urine has been collocated. Mary Hunt, an assistant at the Peoria lab, found a rotting cantaloupe melon at a local market. The mold in that able to produce 6 times more penicillin than Fleming's original strain. With their growing success, the Oxford team approached pharmaceutical companies to manufacture penicillin. But during the Second World War, British industry was not capable of developing a new mass production process, so the team started to look elsewhere. In 1941, the consequences of the less production and shortage of penicillin became apparent after the first human trial of penicillin. Gallons of mold broth was required to produce just a fingernail of penicillin. By the end of 1941, US joined the Second World War and demand for penicillin rocketed. Around 20 different labs in the US were producing penicillin for the war effort, including Schunley Laboratories, and Pfizer played one of the biggest roles in the mass production of penicillin. Penicillin became available for the first time in the UK for public use. It transformed medicine worldwide and ushered in the age of antibiotics. By 1943, the US had sufficient penicillin stocks to satisfy the demands of the armed forces of the United States, as well as their allies. Alexander Fleming, Ernst Boris Chain, and Howard Walter Florey jointly received the 1945 Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine for their discovery of penicillin and its curative effects.